Nigeria's equity market closed February trading in the green. It was up about 0.2%, and on the last day, we saw the market rebound, and one of the gainers was GT Bank and Nigerian breweries. All sectors indices rallied, with the exception of industrial goods, and the insurance sector led the gains, followed by the oil and gas sector. Joining us to give us some perspective on where those markets are likely to go this week is Robert Omotunde, investment researcher at Afrinvest. Robert, thank you very much for joining us. So we've spoken about equity, the fixed income market just now, and clearly the yields are looking attractive there, and so the incentive is a lot less for people to buy equities these days. But when you look at the market right now, and given the recent volatility we saw, the market was up about 2.5% last week. We know it fell about, was it 7%, I think,
8%.
Not too long ago, 8%.
Yeah.
So we're seeing volatility clearly, but your take on how to play this equity market going forward?
Okay, thank you, Wole, for having me once again. What we've seen in equities markets in recent time, like we've always said, is the fact that investors are very cautious around the macroeconomic fundamentals that the economy is facing in terms of falling oil price, which is more or less rebounding, at the moment, and particularly the polity, which investors are not so sure about. Like you said, 3 weeks ago, market was down, and like 2 weeks, that's the previous week before the last, we saw some sort of a rebound, and markets returned about 5% in the previous week, and this last week we saw another positive return of 2.5%, more like the market was trying to recoup some things, some points that it has lost in the previous week. And but like we've always said, what is happening right now is a clear case of investors identifying opportunities. When prices go low, it's an opportunity for investors to come in again, take position and enjoy some form of gain before they start taking profit again. So what we are saying, yes, it is true that at the fixed income end, yields are a little bit more attractive at the moment. But again, equities also present opportunity for discerning and technically inclined investors.
Okay,
if I must put it
so
down.
if I'm going to go into equities, how do I go in? I mean, what's the most attractive place to go in your view?
Okay, now what we have been able to analyze is the fact that yes, foreign investors are still in our markets. However, they are very cautious around the volatility we have seen in exchange rates in recent time. We saw the initial devaluation of 8.4 and another tacit devaluation by the CBN. So if you accumulate that, you're seeing about 25% devaluation of the currency. So any would-be investor, foreign investor, will be very cautious of that. But around that, while we're beginning to see some form of respite in terms of what the global oil price is saying, other issues are what foreign investors are looking at, and we know that they play a major role in our markets. Why the PFAs and other local fund managers will more or less join the bandwagon, if I'm going to put it that way. Right. Foreign investors always take the lead. Okay. And because of that...
So where would they go? Which stocks do you think...
Okay, what we think they are going to be doing at this moment is to continue to identify those stocks with very sound fundamentals, and most of those stocks are within the consumer goods basket, not only because some of these stocks have good fundamentals, but because there is this foreign bias towards them because of some of their parents who are, most of these companies are the like of Nigerian breweries, Guinness. They have a parent that is not a Nigerian company.
Robert, hold on just a second. When you say the good fundamentals of consumer goods, the results are not telling us that, and we've seen a lot of pressure, especially the impact of the devaluation on some of the numbers we've seen so far. So why do you think that the fundamentals are still good, or are we just being extremely selective here?
Well, if you look at the market overall, it appears that it's a general market challenge that we're experiencing at the moment. But why we are saying that the consumer goods are likely to enjoy this, of course, there's no doubt about it that the recent devaluation will increase the costs, of inputs for most of the consumer goods companies. But again, it's another opportunity. There's a way the market tends to overreact to certain news, to certain issues, until we are able to critically analyze and see the major impact that the devaluation is going to have on some of these companies, we tend to believe that the markets most times overreact, and that's why we believe that looking at the fundamentals now, to some extent, there are some because of their strategic position in the industry in which they operate, that will present good opportunity for investors.
Give me a few names, because I still think that consumer goods companies are going to be under significant pressure. But which names do you like in that space?
Now in the brewery space, we look at the Nigerian breweries. Of course, result was out about a few weeks ago. We saw that the earnings was pressured, and of course the top line was also more or less, we could say it was more or less flat. But again, what we are looking at is the fact that a company like Nigerian breweries have been strategic in terms of the investment. Of course, the competition in that space is growing. Of course, you saw what Guinness did. Guinness was able to grow, its top line, and of course, earnings is still pressure, which reflects the general problem, around some of these companies. But again, because of the strategic position, the leadership that the Nigerian breweries, even Guinness, because of the competition they are, presenting, because of the leadership position these companies, occupy, we will tend to see some form of position. If you are going to buy into that basket, the consumer goods basket, particularly in the brewery space, these are stocks you don't want to take out, from your portfolio. Again, if you go into the food and beverage, I don't know if that, okay.
Well, unfortunately, we really don't have time to get into the food and beverages, but I hear your point about Nigerian breweries, but I guess the new normal now is that the companies that actually do well provide flat earnings. But we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for joining us, Robert Omotunde, Investment Research Analyst at Afrinvest.